read about 100 books a year, and this system is how I remember everything I ever read. Kind of. Here's the hack. I love those videos that talk about all the different ways people use different highlighters. Green equals this, red equals that. I cannot think that way. It is too stressful. First and foremost, I use one highlighter for the entire book that I'm reading, and that helps me know when I read it. And so the front of my book, I put, okay, yellow equals 2022. If I go back in 2 years and read it again, I'll make sure to use a different color highlighter, and at the front of the book, mark, okay, green now equals 2024. My second hack is I highlight everything that is important to the book. So I highlight things that I want to use later, but I also highlight things so if I'm flipping through the book quickly, I can kind of remember the author's arguments and I know where they're at and where we are now going next. But there is a second group of highlights that I find most important, things I want to remember and call back later for my sermons or a book that I'm writing. This system really helped me in writing my book. I quote a lot of my favorite books in this book, The Non-Anxious Pastor. So what I do is I use the same color highlighter, but I do two unique things that help me remember this quote is significant, keep it for later. First is I earmark the page. Some people are very bothered by that. I'm not at all. I want my book to look like it's falling apart. So I just simply do the doggy ears. Is that what you call the thing? I earmark it on the top of the page. If it's something I really, really love, sometimes I earmark the bottom as well, just to make you guys really upset with me. Also, notice this thing right here I just bought on Amazon. It's some sort of book holder. I don't use it while I'm reading. I use it though while I am looking through and trying to copy the quotes that I love most and put it into a database. So I'll link this in the description below. I think it was pretty cheap. Besides just earmarking the page, I also on the side put a Q, which obviously stands for quote. And so this means not only is this a good quote, I want to remember this quote to use in a sermon or just to like tweet one day or whatever it is. I read the entire book, then I come back to it at the very end and now go through all the earmarks. Not just look for all the highlights on the earmark, but look for the highlight that also has a Q next to it. And I use the amazing iPhone function that I think is incredible. Put out your camera app, go over the page that you want to quote, and on the bottom right, you'll see this text icon, this box with like 3 lines. You select that. And when you select it, you'll find this entire page is now available to copy. So I just simply take my finger, I put it over all the highlights. Now that it's highlighted, I press copy. Now that I have it, because I use iPhone, I'm able to take this copy, and now when I paste it onto my Mac, I just hit Command V on my Mac and it remembers the copy from my phone. I don't understand how they do it, but it's incredible. Now the biggest problem I have with Notion right now is for some reason, Notion, when you paste from a photo like this, it uploads as a file. I think they'll fix this. This is literally within the last month that I'm having this issue now. So the workaround, it's so lame and I feel like this makes this video dumber. But you go to the Notes app, you paste it onto the Notes app because Notes does it fine. Then you take the notes, you copy and paste that, and you go into Notion. So I created a whole Notion just for all the books that I've read each year. So comment below if you want to see a video on how I put all of this together. I go down here, what I just quoted was Tyler Staton's new book, Praying Like Monks, Living Like Fools. The way I've organized this is at the very end, I try to summarize the book in 3 sentences, so it helps me remember the book a little bit better. But I go to my top quotes, I press Command V, and there is that quote. Put the page number. Page numbers are important, especially if you ever want to write a book one day. You will thank me for putting in the page number. So this page number is page 49, and boom, now I go to the next bullet point and look for the next quote to put in. So I remember these books because I can go back on my Notion database at any time. I don't have to be in my library going through the book. I can go and look, okay, Surprised by Hope by N.T. Wright. I can look at all of my favorite quotes from the book. I really hope this inspires you to read more books. If you're looking for one, go ahead and pick up The Non-Anxious Pastor. Remember, Jesus is better.